Every bite of this butterscotch cheesecake is loaded with butterscotch flavor. It's thick, it's creamy, it's so good. If you're a butterscotch fan, you are going to love it. It is one of my favorites. Hi, I'm Lindsay from Life, Love, and Sugar, and today we're making a loaded butterscotch cheesecake. All right, so to get started, we'll make our crust. We've got our graham cracker crumbs, light brown sugar, mix those two together, and then we'll add our butter. You want to stir this all together until all the crumbs are moistened so you don't have any pockets of dry crumbs. And then we can pour this into our prepared springform pan. Mine has nonstick baking spray around the edges and a little on the bottom, and then a parchment circle as well that'll help make it easier to remove the cheesecake from the pan later. So I'll kind of spread these pretty evenly around the cheesecake pan, make it easier to press them down. Push a little extra out to the sides so that I have some for going up the sides of the pan. And then I like to use a cup that has kind of a nice corner on it here to help create good corners on my cheesecake crust and push everything down. All right, now I'll press the tops of the crust down. All right, so now we have our crust. We can pop it in the oven for about 8 to 10 minutes. All right, so now we're gonna make our filling. We're gonna start with our room temperature cream cheese. We have our brown sugar and some flour. We'll pop this on our mixer and beat it on low speed until it's all well combined and smooth and creamy. All right, that's looking good. Now we can add our sour cream and vanilla extract. Mix this until it's well combined and creamy. We've got two things that are gonna add butterscotch flavor. We're gonna add some heavy cream to the butterscotch chips, and then we're gonna put these in the microwave and melt them. All right, so now that that is melted, we'll add it to our cheesecake mixture in 2 parts. All right, now the other thing that we're gonna add is actually a dry butterscotch pudding, and you can use the instant or the cook and serve. The cook and serve is not as thick, so your batter may look a little thicker if you use the instant, but either one works. All right, now we can add our eggs one at a time, mixing until pretty well combined. Now before you add your filling to your crust, I recommend going ahead and getting it ready for the water bath so you're not jostling it around all over the place after you've added the batter. So I like to use a silicone pan that's just an inch bigger than my 9-inch springform pan to keep the water out during the water bath. You can also use aluminum foil, that's most common. I also used to use a crock pot liner and then cover that with aluminum foil. There are lots of options. This is super easy though. Pop this in my larger pan that I'll fill with the warm water. All right, now we can add our warm water to the larger outside pan until you've got water that goes about halfway up the side of your springform pan if you've wrapped the pan, or about halfway up the side of the silicone pan if you're using one of those. Now we can pop it in the oven for about 1.5 hours and then do the slow cooling process where you turn off the oven and leave the door closed. It'll continue to cook for another 30 minutes and then crack the door for 30 so it can kind of slowly cool and it helps prevent cracks. All right, so once your cheesecake has baked, cooled, been chilled until firm, we can take it out of our springform pan and put it on our platter. And then it should just kind of slide right off the bottom of the pan. If it doesn't, you can use an offset spatula or something to loosen it. Now while I'm holding the cheesecake, I can actually use my other hand to get the parchment paper off the bottom. And then we'll set this on our platter. So for our topping, we're gonna make a butterscotch ganache with the butterscotch chips like the ones we used in the cheesecake earlier. So we've got some butterscotch chips, some heavy whipping cream. We'll combine those and then we'll melt that in the microwave. Let it cool for a few minutes to thicken, and then we'll put it on top of our cheesecake. Now the more you let it cool, the less likely it is to drizzle down the sides. It just kind of depends on the look you want. All right, so there you have it, the final butterscotch cheesecake. This thing is so good. Loaded with butterscotch flavor. You are going to love it. For the full recipe, head over to lifeloveandsugar.com.